I'm a big believer in who you surround yourself with is who you become. People don't treat you how you deserve. People treat you based on how you treat yourself. You have to show people how to treat you. If you struggle with that, that's absolutely fine. This video is going to help. On this channel, I love to discuss self-growth, encourage you to become the best version of yourself, but also being your authentic self, being your virtual cheerleader. So if this sounds like your vibe, I would love if you could like and subscribe. I've even got heart pimple patches on my face today. Don't let me down. So just a little shout out to Nikki, who gave me this recommendation. He is honestly the most amazing, funniest guy ever, and he's extremely talented in the music industry. But nonetheless, why do people treat you how you treat yourself? It sounds really simple, but it can feel really difficult. Especially if you've been one of those people in the past to just brush over things because you don't want to cause a drama, you don't want to cause any problem. You'd rather stay quiet to keep the peace, or you were just never shown how to use your voice, which all of that is okay. But from today, you're going to learn to speak up, and you best believe you're going to start asking people for what you deserve. A couple of the most important things to have when it comes to having people treat you the way you deserve, first of all, is having standards. So knowing what you will and won't tolerate. And when you won't tolerate it, you won't stick around. You don't give 3, 4, 5 chances, hoping that person will change, hoping the outcome will be different. You simply remove yourself and protect your peace. Because peace is number one. It's the most important thing. But let's be real, it's not as simple as that sometimes. Sometimes you can be attached to situations, to people, or someone could have been in your life for a long, long time. But you've grown and changed and realised that actually the way they're treating you, you don't align with it anymore. And we love that. We love a growth moment. We love that you're trying to push forward and become a better version. I love that you're demanding more respect. I love that you're standing in your power and demanding your worth. And another thing that's so important is having boundaries and not being afraid to implement boundaries and stand firm on them. I know if you've never set boundaries before, it can feel really scary. And if you have abandonment issues, you can be scared that that person's going to leave you. But it's so much better for someone to abandon you that's not meant for you rather than you abandoning yourself. And someone who is healthy and right for you won't want you to abandon yourself and your needs. They'll respect it. If anything, they'll rise up to the occasion. There was a time I'd let people walk all over me. There was a time where I didn't express how I felt. And there was most certainly a time that I didn't even know what boundaries were. And if you want to learn about boundaries, I have posted a video earlier this year that can help you on that aspect. But a good example of how to get people to start treating you the way you deserve, having boundaries and having standards, is calling someone out. You don't have to be aggressive, you don't have to be confrontational, because again, everyone's style is different. And also, if you approach someone from a confrontational, angry point of view, you're going to get their back up, so it's not going to go anywhere positive. And also, you'll notice if that person is just doing it as a one-off, if they're having a bad day, or if they're just having a moment. Like, we all have moments, we have mentee Bs. Don't get me wrong, it obviously doesn't disregard bad, shitty behaviour. But if you're just noticing something, it's not that big of a deal and it doesn't happen again, then it could just be that's the situation. But if it becomes a thing that's happening all the time, then it's a pattern. And if it doesn't sit right with you, then you can address it. And I know it feels so intimidating if you've never addressed things before, that your heart gets out of your chest, that you feel like you've killed someone by just thinking to yourself, I need to set a boundary. I get it, honestly, it's so scary. But once you do that, once you say to someone, that doesn't sit right with me, the way someone should handle it in a healthy way would be, I'm so sorry, I didn't even realise, and then correct that behaviour. But I've had situations where you've said something like, that upset me, I don't agree with that, and then they've gone, oh my God, how dare you? What is wrong with you? Why would you expect me to be like that? Do you really think I'm that kind of person? Then I'm not surprised that you're scared. But that is an unhealthy way to approach it, and that is not right. That reaction has everything to do with that person and their inability to be mature and handle situations like an adult. And then flipping it around on you is a manipulation tactic. And if you want to learn a little bit about that, look at my toxic behaviours video. And the problem is, if you don't set boundaries and standards for yourself, you risk being treated like absolute garbage. People will walk over you because they can get away with it. Some people will do it by accident. Some people will do it on purpose because they see how much they can get away with you. And that is just the cruel reality. It's not okay. And I don't agree with that. And I personally don't live by that. But some people just think, oh, do you know what? I'm going to get away with what I can get away with. And it's just so fucking pathetic. Like, honestly, grow up. But some people were taught as a child that that's their way of get away with things, getting things that they want. So we want to avoid that. We want to avoid people like that. Sometimes, obviously, you're going to have to be around those sort of people. It's about noticing that that's their behaviour and maybe keep that limited distance. Because as humans, people want to be liked. People want to be friends with people. Obviously, you've got your introverts that just love staying at home all day, inside, don't talk to people. Love that for you. I personally love being around people and being chatty with people. And again, it's hard. When you're one of those people that's like a bit of an extrovert or even an introvert, if you have people-pleaser tendencies, that is hella difficult. Because what do you mean my whole bloodline won't die if I set a boundary? Why is my heart beating out of my chest? What is going on? That is honestly how it can feel. But it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It means you're protecting yourself and protecting your peace, which is exactly what you should be doing. You implement those boundaries, you implement those standards to people, not as a way to be difficult, not as a way to be a pain in the arse, but as a way to show people how to treat you and how to keep those people in your life. And there's nothing wrong with having standards and boundaries. If it protects you and it makes you feel happy, you're not being difficult. You're being upfront and honest with people. And obviously when people can be unintentional about these things, people can cross your boundaries. But if you don't communicate those boundaries or you don't communicate it bothers you, how is that person going to know? And I have been in the position where I felt scared to speak up, or I thought speaking about my needs was going to cause problems. And it was like an internal feeling. So I absolutely 1,000,000% know how difficult it can be. But just because you're feeling like that doesn't mean you're in the wrong. It's actually a sign of growth. It's actually a sign that you are not willing to tolerate crappy behaviour. And it's a sign of the unknown. But people that want the best for you, people that love you, and people that want to be in your life will not see your boundaries as a blocker. See your standards as something they can't raise to. And they definitely won't put you in a place of harm for you to feel uncomfortable and unsafe. And this happens a lot in environments. You can be in an environment that's such a crappy environment and people just excuse it going, that's normal. So like an environment of a friendship. Everyone could just be mean to each other and it could just be validated. And they could be like, this is just who this person is. But it doesn't make it okay. It's absolutely not acceptable. But because they're so used to it, they just go, that's how that person is. Rather than thinking to themselves, this is not normal. Why am I validating this behaviour? Why am I tolerating this behaviour? And some people do it because it's easier and they get stuck in it. But that's not the healthy approach. So don't stay in environments or friendships or relationships and abandon yourself and negotiate your standards because you're scared of being on your own, because you're scared of being the bad guy. You have those boundaries and needs and standards for a reason, and you shouldn't silence them. And if someone sees a problem with any of that, then that's a them problem, not your problem. Obviously, I'm not saying standards-wise, I expect all my friends to buy me 5 Cartier bracelets to prove their friendship to me. No, I'm saying that if you don't agree with something, you don't agree with a behaviour, an action, a situation you're put into, then don't stay silent. You have every right to speak up. You should not fear the backlash. You should be able to speak freely and feel safe. And if you don't, if people make you feel unsafe, then babes, it's time to reevaluate. If you talk about your feelings, your friend should hold your heart like the most precious gift in the world. If you talk about something that bothers you, your friend should listen with open ears. And if you communicate a boundary, your friend should support that. Here's to no longer being around people that drain you, being in situations that cost you your peace, and allowing people to get away with shitty behaviour. Because like I said, people that know that they're exhibiting shitty behaviour and they just won't change it, but they're using it for their own benefit, red flag. You absolutely need to stand up for yourself and assert from the start that you're not to be messed with. And like I said, it doesn't have to be intense, it doesn't have to be crazy. But if someone says, you're doing this for me, rather than cowering down and be like, okay, maybe I should do this for them, I don't want to cause an issue. You're going to clap back and be like, oh, am I? When did I sign up to that subscription? Because if you just cower down, they're going to walk all over you because they know they can. But if you don't, you're going to gain respect. RESPCT, baby. That's what you deserve. You deserve health, wealth and abundance. You deserve good friends. You deserve an amazing atmosphere. And you most certainly don't deserve the bare minimum. Babes, Prada doesn't go on sale, so why should you? Know your value and add tax. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and a lovely week and you start asserting boundaries and standards. Ciao for now, Bella.